2, 1. Time to do a podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Quack Shack Podcast, the migration tour presented by Gator Waiters. We're still here from the last podcast. Still got the same clothes on. We're running it back. Another podcast here at Quack's Waterfowl in Brinkley, Arkansas. We're here with a couple special guests. We got Mr. Ryan.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
We got Mr. Jake.
Hey, everybody.
We got Mr. Hank.
What's up, y'all? Happy to be here.
What'd you say?
I'm happy to be here.
So a little backstory. Hank from Hank and Stank. I guess that's what you call your group. You and your guys.
Redneck Reviews.
Redneck Reviews.
Fine.
Fuck, my bad. I knew that. Mr. Hank from Redneck Reviews partnered up with Quacks to do a giveaway hunt, and Ryan and your cousin.
He's one of my buddies.
One of your buddies won it, and then invited Mr. Jake out here. Barbecue with Jake.
That's it. We got invited and glad to be here.
Awesome. So, is this y'all's first time in Arkansas duck hunting?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well, we didn't duck hunt today. We hunted snow geese, but tomorrow we will duck hunt. This your first time in Arkansas?
Yeah, I've driven through, but
Right.
I've never actually stopped like this.
Right. And what about y'all?
I've driven through it. Got pulled over today.
Yeah, you got pulled over today.
He did get pulled over.
Ryan is from South Carolina,
Yeah.
but you live in Nashville, Tennessee now.
Yeah, I've been there
Singer-songwriter.
about 8 months now.
Yeah. How's it been?
Dude, going from the sticks to nothing but concrete is just not – it was not what I was expecting, but, you know.
Hey, it's what it takes.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. And you are from what part of Tennessee?
I'm right between Memphis and Nashville around Jackson.
Yeah.
And he's in the concrete. He moved to the wrong part, but we won't hold it against him.
That's right. That's right. And you're from Maryland.
The only decent part of Maryland, too.
Oh,
out there a little bit in the sticks, right there in Boonesboro.
Boonesboro. And so you know Matt a little bit, is that right? Or?
Yeah, so me and Matt grew up playing baseball together. We went to school together, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. You know Braden at all?
I knew his name, but I didn't personally know him.
Yeah. It seemed like you know Caleb's wife, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I went to school with her as well.
Okay.
Yep. I
Yeah,
know their
small
family.
world, ain't
Yeah,
it?
I know their family real well, too.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's start with you since you're on that end. Barbecue with Jake. If you're watching this podcast, you probably know who this guy is. Tell us a little bit about your story, bub.
So, you know, a lot of people in the barbecue world, they come from a long line of people who barbecue, and I didn't. You know, I kind of self-taught myself the grilling and smoking world, and started on social media in 2019, and, you know, we're here today. Got a good following. I launched my line of seasonings. Y'all got to try some of them today.
Fantastic. Is that not fantastic?
Dude, insane.
Very good.
Insane.
It's been a great journey.
Yeah.
You know, I can't complain one bit. But aside from barbecue, you know, hunting and fishing has always been one of my very big passions. And, you know, whenever old Hank invited me over here, it was one of really – I was really glad to be here, and I jumped on the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about – we're going to do this with all of y'all, and we're all going to get to know each other's backstory maybe a little bit more, hopefully, and especially the people watching this. This is a duck hunting podcast, but over the years, we had during the off season, back when we did audio only, during the off season, we had to keep putting stuff out, you know, to stay relevant. You know, we can't go shoot ducks, but we can still talk about it, and that's essentially how this podcast started. And this year, along with our tour, we're doing 10 episodes this year on our tour, a little bit shorter than what we did last year, but we're also going to do 10 audio only podcasts. And back in the day, when we were doing audio-only podcast during the off-season, we would have we had a barbecue guy, my buddy Brendan Lamb, on the podcast that also loves to duck hunt. We had some athletes, some NASCAR drivers, but that also, you know, like to duck hunt. So your trade is you're a fireman, right? Or a paramedic? Paramedic, that's right. And you said you're self-taught barbecue. The one thing I'm very fascinated about, and you know, there's a couple things in life for men that just kind of happen when they happen. Like some guys enjoy cutting grass when they get a little bit older. Some guys get into barbecue, or whatever it is. I started getting into barbecue, and I think a lot of it has to do with my buddy Brendan that I talked about. Very good chef, and that's it's what he does for a living. It's what he's always done. Well, not always done for a living, but done for a living for a long time. And obviously watching your videos and like just all kinds of stuff, and just I think coming with age, I've started to the past couple months started to barbecue. Like I told you, made that rack of ribs the other day, and I was very proud with myself. I did it all on my own. And so you're self-taught, and have you always been interested in barbecue or cooking or?
Well, I earned the title Big Jake.
Right.
Being a big guy, which comes from loving to eat.
Right.
And with loving to eat comes loving to cook. And I just got experimenting on the grill, and that turned into the smoker. And it's like I told you earlier, I messed up a lot of food, learning how to blend seasonings, learning how to cook. And, we ate a lot of overly salted food because, I started cooking on the grill when I was very young as a kid. And back then, I didn't know the difference between garlic powder and garlic salt. Yeah. So I put salt and garlic salt, and it was barely edible.
Right.
But we ate it anyway, and it brought me to where I am today. But kind of what you said, there's a joke that goes around, when a man hits 35, he either buys a Corvette, a Harley, or starts cooking briskets.
Right.
It's kind of a thing, and barbecue is a great thing, and cooking in general. My page, I do a little bit of all of it. I barbecue, but I do crock pot meals, oven meals, stovetop stuff, like the appetizer we had tonight.
Yeah.
And, I just came up with that on the fly, and it was very, very good. But it's something that everybody can come together over. We all have to eat, but everybody loves to eat. We love good flavors, we love good food, and we love good fellowship.
Right.
And we had all of that tonight.
We did, man.
Oh, yeah.
We did. And
Fantastic.
I think I can speak for everybody when I say this. Your seasonings are off the chain. And it's when you're sitting with someone that's done something cool or made something that everybody enjoys, it tends to you tend to hear like, I'm not just saying it because you're here. But I think I can honestly say your seasonings are insane. They're very good, and it's not like, we could go down the road and buy some off the shelf somewhere, and they might be good, but yours are very good. We were over there. We made some jalapeno poppers tonight, and we cut some duck up and made some jalapeno duck poppers, and he mixed some of his which season did you put in that cream cheese?
So on the duck poppers with the barbecue rub.
The barbecue rub inside the cream cheese and mix it up. And, there was a little bit left over, and we were finding anything we could to dip in there. And it already had seasoning there, and we were topping it with other seasonings. We were mixing them up.
If not,
you don't do that on a normal basis.
No. Dude, we're sitting there pouring it in the palm of our hand, just licking it out the palm of our hand.
We were taste testing the shit out of that
I don't think I've
stuff
ever
tonight.
done that with any other seasoning.
No.
It was a big old pot of Big Jake gumbo was the way I thought.
Yeah, we had a little bit of everything. He had a couple of breasts left over. He cut them up, cubed them up, threw them in a pan with some bacon and put some SPG on there. That stuff right there. Shoot.
I bought some.
he literally bought some while we were sitting there right before we started eating today. But man, that's awesome. I want to talk a little bit about that because you have 4 seasonings out right now.
I do.
And what inspired that, and how did you even come up with the concoctions that you came up with in there that are so good? What's up, guys? Turtle box speakers. If you don't know about them, you must have been living under a rock. These things are the most durable, waterproof, loudest outdoor speaker that you can have. We take these things on the boat in the summertime, in the wintertime. We take them to the holes with us. Like I said, they're durable. You don't even, like if you have 2, you can just throw that one out to the side right there and grab your other one. They're super durable. If you've seen their marketing on Turtle Box's Instagram, they run them over with monster trucks, they freeze them, they toss them as high as they can. Super durable, waterproof, and they've got a port in the back where you can charge your phone. Definitely by far the best speaker on the market. Check them out at turtleboxaudio.com. Check them out on Instagram at turtleboxaudio.
So my SPG and my barbecue rub I made for a long time. And those were the first 2 seasons I launched. I kind of launched them in twos. It makes it easier on my side.
Right.
Just keeping everything in line. But, my barbecue rub, it's not overly sweet. I'm sure you noticed that today. A lot of barbecue rubs are really, really sweet. And I tell people on my channel, this is my barbecue rub. It's what I use. I started posting videos. I'd say, hey, I sprinkled some of my old barbecue rub on there. They said, what's in it? What is it? So I went ahead and released it with my SPG, and it's awesome. A lot of people love it. And I tell people all the time, if you like a really, really sweet barbecue rub, hey, it may not be for you, and that's
Right.
okay, because you have the ability to enjoy what you like.
Right.
That's how I like it. I don't like it overly sweet. I have sweet rub recipes, but that's not, if I'm cooking ribs or a butt or whatever at the house, that's not what I'm going to use. This is what I use. And the SPG, I mean, it spoke for itself tonight.
Shoot, son.
I get direct messages every day. People say, I bought the SPG because you said it goes on everything, and I didn't believe it, but man, it goes on
I'll
everything.
be dang.
And it's incredible to see the outcome of it. And like I said, on TikTok Shop, it's got a 5.0 star rating.
That's right.
Hundreds of ratings, and it's really amazing for people to enjoy a product that I made. I blended it. It's my recipe. It's not a rub I went. There's co-packers out there that I could go up to today and say, put my name on that label, and we're gonna sell that rub as mine.
Yeah.
But it's their recipe. No, it's my recipe. I made it, and people enjoy it, and that's just a really, really good feeling.
For sure. So, kind of transition into you said you just started to start barbecuing, and obviously you had your ups and downs along the way. What inspired you to start filming it? Because if you know this guy, you've seen his videos. Like, you've gone viral cooking barbecue. And you do have some of your sayings that are awesome. And we all been saying them this whole time.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Just look at that cross section.
Get it nice and incorporated.
What inspired you to start filming your love for barbecue?
So I had some people that, just kind of pushed me along to do it. I never truly had intentions to do it.
Right.
But, they were like, why not? Just go ahead. And, I started in 2019 and started posting. I took a little time off, and I didn't have intentions of getting back on. And I just had people kept saying, hey, you got to get back on there. You got to get back on there. And
Now, is this people on the internet or friends and family?
personal friends.
Okay.
So I did. I bought the supplies to make 2 videos. I had lost most of my following. I was down to like 5,000 followers, and it was kind of just I'm going to do this to appease you. I'm going to post 2 videos, show you it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And because I took about 2 years off.
Mm.
So I bought stuff for 2 videos. I'm going to appease you. I'm going to post them, and I'm done. And I had like 5,000 followers. I posted the first video back, and the next day I was up to like 25,000.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We're going to go with it. And the great thing is I have people, message me, I enjoy your videos. When I'm having a tough time, I watch them. They bring me joy. Or my whole family loves your recipes. We eat them on the weekly basis, and it's something we come together over. And it's more than just me. It's about other people.
100%.
Other people get joy from it, and that's why I do it. I don't do it for myself. I don't do it for personal satisfaction.
Yeah.
I don't do it for anything like that. But if somebody else can get enjoyment from it or take something from it, that's what's worth it to me.
Right. And I think that, I think that has a lot to do with why you possibly blew up. Just genuine, content, and you being you, and not having self-motive behind it. And that's kind of why we started kicking our podcast off to another level, is because we still to this day get messages about like how something's been helpful for them, like a hunter, a new hunter, or Last year when we did the tour, we went to a bunch of outfitters, and it helped them out. Not that they needed it, but us coming and doing content with them and getting them on the podcast and getting more eyes on them. That's just, just sitting here is free advertisement. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it helped them out, and that's but mostly like the people messaging us and like saying, "Man, that's awesome! I love that story," or whatever it is. And I think, but one thing that you said you took 2 years off, so you took COVID year off.
So I started in 19, 20, and 21. I got back on in late 21.
So do you? I'm real big into like the analytics and like thinking behind closed doors when it comes to social media. You know what I mean? Like we started in 2020, and late 2020, I guess. And anyway, long story short, I wonder if you would have grown faster or if it just wouldn't have worked if you would have went through COVID.
Well,
Because a lot of things happened during COVID. I feel like a lot of people blew up on TikTok during COVID.
Well, with me personally, during COVID, I was kind of opposite.
Right.
So with my job, during COVID, a lot of people's time slowed down. They got on social media, and that is when they got their start. But for me, being a paramedic, whenever COVID come about, we got really busy.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the exact opposite because, there were a lot of people that, hey, you're now working from home, you're not working at all, you're staying at home, you're bored. But for us on the other side, hey, we're taking care of these COVID patients. We're dealing with a whole nother situation here.
Right.
We have a COVID patient in the ambulance. We now have to spend all this time decon the ambulance between calls, and it become a really busy season.
Right.
And, I'm not sure what would have happened if I would have went through all that. And that's not the reason that I didn't do it.
Right.
But, it's kind of one of those things, hindsight's 2020. Who knows?
Hey, God has a plan for everything. If that was his plan, it would have happened.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
For sure. I mean, I'm a big believer in that.
Oh yeah.
I am too.
Big believer. A little bit on your hunting background before we wrap it up to talk to Mr. Hank over here. Have you always been a hunter?
I have. I grew up hunting. I remember, I was 4 years old going hunting with my dad, and my dad, we did a lot of deer hunting. But I remember 4 years old, I'd carry my BB gun out there just so I could carry a gun, you know. And I grew up hunting, and it's always been a part of my family, and it's just something we always did. And I've kind of expanded from there, and I've been able to do a lot of different species of hunting, between deer, turkey, rabbit, raccoon, duck, geese,
Yeah.
and really enjoy it. It's something that, it's kind of family heritage in one side, but
Right.
I think everybody here, we're here because we enjoy it. And
Right.
it's more than just, I don't harvest the animal unless I'm going to, utilize it. And I think that's something that we all agree on.
100%.
But, there's a saying out there that a man, no matter what he packs in and packs out, he carries out less than he carries into the woods. Hunting, it frees your mind, and you just kind of get to take a load off, sitting out there in God's country and nature.
Amen.
And just kind of get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. You have
Said that perfectly.
Yeah. One more thing before we wrap up. I like all of us here. We've seen your content, and we got to meet you. We got Wesley behind the camera and his big old belly. Sorry. We've all seen your content, man, and it's awesome, dude. And people have literally fell in love with what you're doing, and even you. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to have a serious moment here, and he's got his ass hanging out. But you've created, barbecue on the internet. You know what I mean? And there's people that do it, right? But for some reason, people enjoy watching you do what you do, including me and all of us, because we all been saying your stuff and enjoy. Like, you're just a very genuine guy, and we all enjoy your content. And we're good to have you here, man. It was good hanging out with you and hunting with you, dude. It was cool, very cool.
And it's good to be here. And that's one thing that
I sent everybody a Snapchat today, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" I'm not kidding you. Not one person Snapchat me back and was like, "Who the heck's that?" They were all like, "Oh my God, I watch his content. That's awesome." So keep doing what you're doing, dude. You got something, and people love. Even if you stop making content, don't stop selling that stuff.
You have a lot of upset people.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. And not to say anything or too much, he's got a lot of cool stuff in the works.
Absolutely.
And we're excited for that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to be here, and I appreciate you having me.
And if you've seen any of his podcasts before, I'm not going to say anything, but we had to sign an NDA to see how old this man was, but we figured it out. What's up, guys? We partnered up with Migra this year, shooting a 2-4 stack steel shot. You know, I use a 20 gauge quite a bit, so I'll be shooting this 20 gauge 2-4 stack, 1350 feet per second. If I miss, it's because of me, not the shell. This stuff is incredible. Jackson shoots his 12 a lot, so I'll throw a 12 in there every once in a while, especially we're on some big geese or whatnot. But stuff was definitely a go-to this year. Kind of made sense for us. We've been friends with these guys for quite some time now, and so we just made it happen. Highly suggest shooting this Migra. Definitely some great stuff. Can't wait to get in the field and use it again. It's been a couple years since we've gotten to use it, but we're here to stay. Check out Migra Ammunitions on Instagram, and check out their website.
Did you all finally figure it out?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Old enough to know better than young
You
enough
cracked,
to not care.
You cracked.
I told him earlier, one of my buddies said he's, what'd he say? I don't know if he's 17 or 37.
Well, we talked about it. Heath Rouse and I talked about it on the podcast. We went over some of my comments, and I've had a lot of good comments on there. But one thing I said was Matt Pittman, who owns Meat Church BBQ.
Yeah.
He come up to me on the video. He said, "How old are you?" I said, "It's a tough life, man. I got homework and a mortgage due on the same day, and I just don't know how to deal with it."
That's great, dude, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's transition over to this guy. He's a character. A character and a half, dude. I've met quite a few. Like I told you, I've taken several TikTok guys hunting, and like, not to say you are TikTok guys, but these guys were TikTok guys, and like a lot of people found you on TikTok, right? Right. And a lot of people aren't who they are on social media. Like we are. You most certainly are. Both of you. This guy right here is a character and a half. All right, you can't figure him out sometimes. Sometimes he's hard to figure out, and then all of a sudden he is exactly who you thought he would be. This is Hank with Redneck Reviews.
I'm Hank.
And I'm definitely not Stank.
You'll see that video coming out real shortly.
So let's dive into you, because you have probably one of the most unique styles of making content. Right? Wouldn't you say? Because we've talked about it, and I was like, man, that's not fair. We put a lot of time, effort, and money into our content. And this dude's saying, yep, it's a hanger. And how many views I get? 15 million?
That one's coming up with 15 million.
That's insane, dude. That's awesome. So give us a little backstory on why you started, how it all started.
Yeah, so actually I started TikTok with a softball page. I don't even know if you know that.
I did not know that.
So if you go look at it, it's called Lefty Shortstop. And so my slogan was overweight, out of shape, lefty shortstop.
Yeah. It
did pretty well. I got up to like 20,000 followers on TikTok, and then I ran out of content ideas because there's only so much you can do with softball and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And I was like, well, let's kick it back to the roots a little bit, a little more hillbilly, a little more rednecky.
Right.
So my buddy Stank,
yeah,
we were like, well, let's do one together. And he was like, well, I sure as heck ain't gonna do softball. He was like, he's like, you think of something we can do, a little rednecky, a little, off the hinge? He goes, I'll do it. I'll try it. I was like, okay. So I was driving home from work one day, and I was like, it just hit me. It was like Redneck Reviews. I said, I'm going to be Hank. You're going to be Stank. And then I told him our whole intro, which I'm sure you guys have seen.
Yeah.
And that's how that one basically came about. And then when we started, we actually did real reviews.
Right.
So, like, we were taking our time, picking up.
Yeah, I remember.
I think our first
And it was in like a shop or a garage or
Yeah,
something.
so we were in a
early on.
10 by 10 shop, man.
Yeah.
It was tiny. And we picked out, I think our first one was Natty Light vodka, I think is what it was. And we took our time, you know, this is Natty Light vodka, blah, blah,
Yeah.
did the whole 9. We got like 100 views.
Yeah.
And so then we kept going. We kept trying, you know, doing the real stuff.
Yeah.
And there was getting no traction, no
Yeah.
bite. And then I was like, well, I said, you know, the world we live in today is a little smooth-brained. So I
Right.
was like, let's dumb it down a notch. So I picked up, I think the first video that went viral for us was a clamp. I picked up a clamp, and I told him, I was like, we're going to review the clamp. I said, our intro is going to stay the same. And then I said, when I say we're reviewing a clamp, I said, you're going to go, and we're both going to go, it's a clamp. So we did, and then that video hit like 3 or 4 million on TikTok. And then, so like, we always heard like 10,000 followers on TikTok was the magic number for you to, you know, start making a lot of money. And that's when you get into like the creator program and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we were like, our goal was always 10,000.
Yeah.
So then once that video hit, it was like 30, 40 minutes later, we were already past 10,000 followers.
Oh, wow.
So it flew. And then we just started doing all the stupid things. It's a clamp, it's a clothes hanger, all that kind of stuff. And then before we knew it, it was like 2 days after that first video went viral, we were at 100,000 followers.
Wow.
And then it just never slowed down from there.
So, your first video, how many videos, if you remember, did you make before you hit that 3 million views?
It was probably 10 or 15,
Really?
somewhere along there.
And those were all like genuine reviews.
Dude,
like,
we were trying.
Yeah.
Like, we were actually taking our time reviewing these products, and nobody was watching it.
What motivated you to keep going?
Because I've seen what social media can do, the impact it can have, and you know, once you get the influence, you can help a lot of people do a lot of good. And quite frankly, I didn't enjoy working a 9 to 5, so I knew I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted
Right.
to take the leap of faith there, if you will. And we did, and we just kept pushing, and throwing out these stupid videos, but got traction, and
Yeah.
so that's where we are now.
So, what makes you think, or why do you think that? Obviously, it's funny. The videos are funny. What makes you think like the hanger and the clamp video get so many views? No, don't think like I don't want you to give your secrets away if you have secrets or anything, but like,
Man, I don't know.
it's crazy.
Till this
Does
day,
it blow your mind?
It does. And the way me and Stank talk about it, we don't understand it,
Yeah,
but we don't have to.
that's very good.
People watch it. I don't have to know why they watch it,
Yeah.
but they watch it.
I hate to give a secret away, but there is no secret.
Yeah,
You know, I tell people all the time, I posted a Wagyu brisket that got like 15,000 views, and the very next day I posted a crockpot video that hit like 5 million.
yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's
The algorithm's insane.
And that's what it
People's
comes down
more.
And timing.
I would think like people's more simple than you think.
For sure.
So, like the simplicity of it is just do what you would do on a normal day basis,
Right.
You know? And it would just go.
Right.
Well, and we may be
You know?
cracking the code here, but I mean that may be part of it. You know, people may watch social media to want to see kind of what they do on a daily basis and feel like they're not the only one in the world doing that.
I think that has a
Yeah,
lot
I
to
don't know.
do with it, dude.
Definitely.
A lot to do with it. And a lot, I think being genuine, you know, and having organic content, like, who's doing that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's people doing silly videos, and yeah, there's people making barbecue videos, but y'all have a niche, right?
Right.
You have a niche, and it's different. And you have Hank and Stank. Like, how do you even come up with that? That's insane, dude.
So it's funny. So like once everything got rolling the way it did, the part that was like the most real for us that realized like, okay, we're actually being seen. So
Right.
Stank went on a hunt in Colorado, and at this time we only had like 125, 150,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Weren't even on Instagram, no Facebook, no YouTube. And he went on a hunt in Colorado, so they drove and they went to a Longhorn Steakhouse in Topeka, Kansas. And he said the waitress, whatever it is, kept staring at him. And he was like, he was like, I can't figure out why she was staring at me, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I'll show you the picture, but she and the waitresses with her came out and brought him this huge chocolate lava cake and wrote Redneck reviews
Oh, wow.
in chocolate on the plate. So that was the real thing when he calls me and he was like, dude, he's like, we might be doing something right. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, well, I'm in Topeka, Kansas. He's like, I'm 1,700 miles from home. He was like, and, you know, these people just picked me out of a crowd. So that was the realization for us, like, okay, let's keep pushing. Like, this is it.
That's awesome. So you start getting some traction, start getting not some views, a lot of views. What are you thinking? Are you thinking like, how do we keep this going, or like, what do we do next?
Yeah, so we were talking and we were like, well, the dumb stuff's not going to last forever.
Right.
So we were trying to think of like, we're already thinking of spin-offs.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just, you know, pick up everything. This is a cup. This is a bottle of water.
Right.
So we were thinking of other spin-offs. We tried to do some funny. We tried to keep everything funny because that was kind of, we didn't want anything serious. And so, like, one of our videos where we were going to jump 10 cars. So Stank takes off on a four-wheeler, Mach 5, coming down. And when we cut the video up, when he jumped over 10 Matchbox cars. And so
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so it was like we were trying to just keep everything funny and everything because we, like I said, after the Topeka, Kansas thing, that was when we realized like we might actually have something. And then kind of what Jake was saying, we had somebody reach out to us. I'm not going to say their name or anything, but they sent us a message and they were like, your content is the reason that I haven't killed myself yet.
Oh, wow.
And so like that hit the heartstrings
of
there.
course.
And it's like, you know, you're actually making a difference to these people.
Yeah.
You're their joy. And so that was the realization, like, we can keep doing this.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you start getting a bunch of views, like I said. What, obviously, deals start rolling in, and no telling what else starts rolling in.
Right.
And obviously you've done some brand deals and stuff and done some partnerships for videos and content and stuff. What is, and maybe you don't say the first one if you don't want to or whatever, but like when you start hitting brand deals, what are y'all thinking and like what is it? Like, what's up, guys? VPC Lanyards, best lanyards in the industry. We've been with them since I've been with them since 2017. We've been partnered with them since day one of the podcast. We've always used their products. They make a very good, one of the best, if not the best, lanyards. They also make duck totes, gun straps, you name it. Anything that can be made with a paracord, he makes it. He made me a kill switch for my boat, and that we use it all the time. This is the AA Game Changer. This has removable drop loops. So if you don't want to bring a call that day, you don't necessarily have to. If you want to add another call, you just add it. Super easy. By far, my favorite lanyard right here is this AA Game Changer. The one I had before was just as good, if you know, but this one is definitely, like this says, a game changer. So check them out at VPC Lanyards on Instagram or Facebook. Tell them Quack Shack sent you. Get you a new lanyard.
So our first brand deal ever was Southern String Hat Company, and they're still with us till this day. And it was the first little bit of money that we had roll in,
Right.
And that really lit a fire under us. Like, okay, there is money to be made.
So were you making money on social media before that, or was that?
No, that was our first one.
Okay.
We weren't doing any of the creator programs or anything like that. So when Southern String came to us, and you know they did what they did, man, that was, like I said, we lit a fire under us, and we were like, we're gonna take off from here. And we just grinded hard and still tried to make funny, organic content. And that's when the other companies just started reaching out and funneling in, and it just took off from there.
That's crazy, and I'm sure they just pile in.
Yeah, I mean, it got.
You told me some crazy things today, like some big people, like big companies and athletes that have hit y'all up. Musicians, like some big ones.
Yeah, no, we're definitely doing well, and so yeah, that was really the time where, like I said, we were like, we're gonna do this now.
Yeah.
And then once you started getting, really, it was a lot of connections. Put money aside, you got to meet some really cool people. You got to go do some really cool things that your everyday, 9-to-5 person doesn't get to do.
Right.
So it was like, we want to make this our life, our living. So we live, we breathe. We were filming 7 days a week. Because, I mean, our content, obviously, you can bust out 50 videos in a day if you want, because of how simple it is.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of editing that goes into it. And so we were just busting content, and then it was like we would work hard 7 days a week, and then you take like 3 or 4 days off, and you fill those spots with the content you've already made. So we were grinding, and it's really paid off.
So you explain that event that you did that you were a part of last year.
Which one?
The one in was it in Maryland? The one you showed me pictures of and stuff like.
Oh, CCMF?
Yeah.
Yes, we got invited to go down to CCMF with Southern String, and it was awesome, man. We got to go up on the main stage in front of 40,000 people, throwing off hats and everything, and then the schedule came out, and it said Redneck Reviews has the mic on stage. And I'm like,
you had no idea,
man. So it was like 30 minutes before we were supposed to go on, and we're sitting there freaking out because I mean, it's different when you're behind a camera, and now you got because Morgan Wallen was playing that night.
Yeah.
So that place was flooded. And so you're like...
and you had no idea you were doing this.
Yeah, no. So once we got the schedule and it said Redneck Reviews has the mic, I'm like, oh, man. And then they kind of gave us like a little bit of what to go on.
Right.
And it was funny because when we got up on stage, so we did it every day of CCMF. We were on stage. And the first couple of days were good. We were pretty smooth. And then we came on day 3. And this was the night Morgan was there. And I came out and, did my thing. I was like, what's up, Myrtle Beach? Just trying to get the crowd involved.
Yeah.
And I was like, for those of you who don't know who I am, I was like, I'm Hank. And the whole crowd goes, and I'm Stank. And it threw Stank off. He was like shocked. And I'm like, dude, I was like, you got to go. Like, get your stuff out.
Yeah.
But it was pretty neat that everybody was catching on, knowing who we are. And then what was cool was like when we got off stage. So when we were there, nobody really came up and was like, oh, Redneck Review, sign this, sign it.
Yeah.
But once we got off stage and it was like they knew that we were there, we got bombarded. There was pictures and signatures and do this and it was great. So.
That's crazy. I'm sure y'all were like, "What the hell is going on here?"
It was definitely a surreal feeling.
Yeah.
But we're very blessed and happy that we got to take part in that.
Yeah, and then you've done some cool stuff like you partnered up with Quacks to host this giveaway. What else have you done like outside of social media that people might not know about?
So we do a lot of the traveling to the events and stuff like that. We did a giveaway for a cooler cart. I don't know if you've seen that.
I saw that. Dude pulls up on the cooler cart.
Yeah, so that was fun. And let me tell you something about them things, dude. When you get up like 35 miles an hour and you're riding on a cooler, them handlebars get a little squirrely.
Yeah.
They were awesome. But, yeah, so we did the cooler cart giveaway, and then, we're always trying to give back.
Right.
So it was like we did the cooler cart and then the Quacks hunt, and it's hard to tell what we got coming up after.
Yeah. I'm sure you're stupid busy.
Yeah, there's a lot of travel, and when you got families and everything, it's hard. But know, we're in grind mode right now, and you got to do whatever you can do.
You got to get it while you can.
Exactly. You don't want to, especially while you got a hot following coming up. You got to seize the moment.
Yeah,
and so that's 100%. What we're trying to do.
100%. Well, it's cool. When it's probably a couple months ago, Matt called me and told me that this was going to happen. He was like, man, I want y'all to come down the same time. Because we already had it scheduled, like, we're going to come do this on our tour, and it just worked out. And the cool thing about it, since Matt's not here, I guess I can say some good stuff about it.
Yeah, right.
Every time we come down the past 3 years, we've always had, like, a unique group down here. Mm. Last year we had some of our buddies, and Matt got to meet them, which he brought them out, and we just so happened to know them already, of artists or songwriters for the most part. Some big, he knows these guys, like some hard hitters in songwriting world out last year. And then the year before that, we had a bunch of, what was it the year before? Oh, it was just a bunch of my buddies, a bunch of Matt's buddies, and some hardcore duck hunter. And every year we got something going on out here, and I'm lucky to be a part of it. And this year was probably the craziest one thus far, just because like you got Mr. Jake over here that just phenomenal cook. Like, people don't get to taste your food on watching it through that screen, but we got to taste it tonight, and it was crazy.
Yeah, they're missing out.
And then we got Hank over here. That's a hoot and a half. I can't believe I just said that. That's very cringe. But a badass dude. And then we got Ryan over here. And anytime you got somebody that's playing any type of music, it can take a badass time and a good vibe to a whole nother level. We're going to transition over here to Mr. Ryan.
What's up?
So, you came out here with your old pal from back home.
Yeah.
and you said you moved to Nashville. I'm gonna transition over here a little bit and turn
There
towards
you
him
go.
so I don't break my neck. You moved to Nashville about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that? Because everybody that in the music industry, more so country, I know some guys that are into hip hop that are in Nashville.
Oh yeah.
So what? Everybody's got a different story of why, and we've talked. I have some friends that are in that town, and everybody's got a different story. Let's hear yours.
Yeah. Man, I've been interested in music my whole life. I grew up. My daddy had a drum kit upstairs in his garage, and I was always so fascinated by the fact, that made that kind of noise, and it was just awesome. It was what tied a song together, and thinking back on it now, that was kind of like the main purpose of me loving music and like the start of it and stuff. And so, I mean, I went from playing drums to singing in church. My mama, she sings in church, and, I grew up listening to her and then playing the bass guitar, and then the church donated a guitar. My first 6-string to me, it taught.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, it was surprising. I would think I was 14 or 15 when they ended up giving me that guitar, and God, dude, I kind of did the YouTube video teaching myself how to play, type of thing, and then songwriting came along and started writing songs, and living in BFE, South Carolina, there's nobody out there that does music as well. And I remember I would always tell my daddy, like,
You say that, but
well, I mean,
Josh, you got my buddy Josh that you know.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
from North or South Carolina, one of the two. Luke Combs.
yeah, well, they're in North Carolina. That's a little bit farther. Plus, they're like, 25 years old and up, and me being back there, like, by the time I'm actually thinking I'm really wanting to get serious with this, they're already having number one. So the stretch between that of even making that connection is like
for sure.
slim to nothing.
Yeah.
And so no, but it took a little while. I started writing, and and then it started seeing progress of getting better.
Right.
And actually, something that's crazy is I used to tell everybody, they're like, "Oh, you gonna move to Nashville? Go play on Broadway? Go do this? Go do that?" And I'm like, "No, like mainstream sucks. I'm never moving to Nashville."
You hear that a lot, don't you?
Yeah, and I was one of them to say it. Mm-hmm. I told all of my buddies back then, I was like, mainstream. I'll never be a part of mainstream. Ain't nobody ever gonna control me. And then you just kind of like get into it, and you're like, well, this independent thing's not really working out here in BFE.
It's hard, huh?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I tried the whole TikTok thing and stuff, and it worked for a little bit. We got up to like 31,000 followers, but then it capped, and like it hadn't really done much since then. But that's where I kind of started working more behind the scenes instead of trying to put my face in front of people.
Right.
We ended up. I always say it like this. You said earlier, the Lord has a plan for everybody. Mm-hmm. God has a track that he puts everybody on that he wants them to roll on. And
it's up to you to stay on that track.
Yes.
Or figure it out.
Yeah, dude, and I could sit here and talk about what happened for hours, but, kind of sum it up. We ended up getting I ended up kind of being in a tough position in my life where I really saw it starting to click. This is like the day I was like, okay, I'm seeing, this might be something. This might be something that I need to do. And I graduated high school and I went straight to work. Yeah. Well, 2 years later, I ended up getting laid off. And 2 weeks later, my first ever like love girlfriend or whatever that I actually had never felt like that before. Anyways, she ended up leaving me. And then, like, it was just a hard time. And
but a lot of songs were written.
Well, that's where this one song came out of, where I called my buddy. He's up in Nashville now, too. He moved up there about a year before me. His name is Brandon Wisham. I called him one night, and he was the only person that was relatively close to where I lived that did music at a, kind of like a level that it was like, wow.
Bigger
like,
than your small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I me and him became really good buddies, throughout time. Well, one night, I was laying in my bed in my parents' house, and I FaceTimed him. I was like, hey, man, I really would like to write a song together. And me and him have never written a song together,
right?
Like other than by ourselves or whatever. So we were like, screw it. He was like, screw it. So we did a little routine thing and ended up writing a song called Pain Won't Last. Ended up getting recorded and put out on the Religiously album by Bailey Zimmerman.
Oh, dang.
And that's when even my pops always told me, he was like, man, you just kind of need to keep that to the side. Dad, if you see this, I'm sorry, but he ended up just telling me, like, hey, man, you just need to get a job and just work, make sure you keep having money flowing in.
Yeah.
And then he was like, music can be a side thing, and once it evens out, then you just pray and see what is supposed to happen after that.
Yeah.
And I think that right there, from literally going to nothing, nights in the bedroom of my parents' house, not knowing what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah.
To just now it's like, well, dang, he's got a song on radio.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And, man, it was just, that's like just a part of where I feel like God is putting together puzzle pieces in my life, as he probably has done for both of you guys, and even yourself. And it's just been an absolutely insane ride so far. And the way that I try to keep looking at it is that we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah. Chasing migration. Are you traveling all over the country, or an outfitter that uses a trailer day in and day out to pack your gear, your decoys, whatever it is? Chasing Migration makes the best attachments to go in trailers. They also build some of the best built trailers on the market. You can choose from waiter hangers to gas can holders to bag holders to gun racks. They've got a variety of products that you can put in your trailer to make your job even easier. If you're looking to get a trailer built, check out Chasing Migration. Or if you're wanting to add some accessories to your trailer, check out Chasing Migration on Instagram or check them out on the website. Always. Even, I'm sure y'all thought the same thing when you started getting 3 million views on a clamp.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of, God have a timing for everything. I look back now, and there's a lot of things that, I sat around and prayed for with our business that, I needed. This has to happen.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't. And then a year down the road, you look back, and you're like, wow, thank you so much for, not letting us go this route. So he's always got a plan for it, and he's going to make it happen.
I want to talk more about you, but since we're on this, I kind of want to share to y'all a very short story of our path. Yeah. And we all have our ways of life and how we grew up, and some were good and some were bad. And, without saying a lot, I had a great parents, but I grew up I had a rough life growing up, and I've never, I've been through a lot, and I never really felt depression. And a couple years ago, I was talking to Jackson, my co-host, which isn't here, obviously. He's taking care of business elsewhere, but and I'm not the guy to talk to people about stuff. And I called him, and I was like, man, I think I might be depressed. I don't know. And I just started crying. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do in life anymore. And, not that I was, suicidal at all. Never felt that. But I was like, I feel like we're doing so much, and nothing's working. And I just not happy with, I owned a very good business, and I just didn't want to do it no more. I wanted to do something different. And then, we got approached to do a tour, and nobody in our industry has, in the duck hunting podcast industry, has ever done anything like that. And it taught me patience and, timing. And, I grew up very religious my whole life growing up, going to church. And you talked about going to church and playing music. I remember taking a plastic guitar and them letting me play on stage like I was actually playing. I'm not a musician or have that whatsoever, but it's crazy what God's plan. If you're trying to do something else or rush God's plan, He puts something in your life or tells you somehow hey, slow down.
It's crazy.
Or here it is, Open your eyes. It's right here.
Dude, you could be on top of the mountain 1 minute, and literally within the snap of a finger, you're down in the bottomest pit of the valley.
And that's how I felt, dude. I had a very good business. I quit pipelining and spent all of my money to start this business, and it was very successful. And I just got to a point where I was like, I don't even want to do this. Like, I'm good at it, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted to do something else, and, like, I'm doing it now, but, like, it wasn't the time, you know? And I had to wait.
Yeah.
He taught me patience, and he was like, all right, here you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's the way you felt. I want to hear more about your transition to Nashville, because like we talked about earlier, I know people that have made that move, and I know, like I've told you about people I know in the Texas scene that never made that move, and you know, one of them in particular did, but he was already big by that point. Let's talk about your transition into Nashville, because I'm sure that's a very scary thing, because like you said, Nashville can chew you up and spit you out.
Good Lord, yes it can. Man, I mean, I finally gotten to my senses of being like, I do want to move to Nashville.
Right.
Probably, honestly, like a year and a half ago, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was like, okay, well, I've got a song cut, and I know that I'm gonna get money out of this. You know, I don't have a job or nothing, and I don't know how to get a job in Nashville. I mean, so I was, honest to God, leaning on this royalty payment.
Yeah.
From this, you know, from writing a song or whatever. I mean, leaning on it. Like, my plan was like, the day that it comes in, I'm going to pack the trailer, move up there. If I have to stay in the truck for a little bit, I have to. But, you know, I'll have, you know, a little bit of loose change in my account to be able to maybe go get, you know, even a crappy apartment.
Yeah.
And, dude, it came like 2 months before I moved up there, and was planning to move up there, and I got a call from the guys who I room with now. One of them's name's Christian Stoles. He plays the fiddle for an artist named Ernest.
Oh, wow.
On the road. And then another one, his name's Chase Ryan. Dude, huge name on Broadway. Dude, he's out there killing it.
Is Chase Ryan, does he play at Kid Rock's?
No.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time, like the way that the whole Broadway thing works. But
maybe
dude,
we'll
he's been on the grind. But anyways, dude, literally out of nowhere, I've like talked to him briefly every now and then.
Yeah.
Before this, but I'm sitting in my bedroom, kind of trying to, at the time, like in my phone, trying to plan out like how this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And,
trying to make it make sense.
Dude, yeah. And I didn't really have no guide through the music scene, so I didn't know how the royalty things worked. I didn't know how any of it worked.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of going through like, okay, so I'll move up there, I'll figure out, you know, where I'm going to be staying. I might, you know, I might have a buddy or something that would let me stay with them or something, and ended up getting my phone started ringing. It was Chase, my roommate now, and I was kind of like, wow, okay. And he called me, and he was like, hey, the person that used to live with us, they just like left.
Yeah.
You know, we really would like for you to move in with us, and we're in a house, you have your own bedroom, like everything's gonna be cool. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
He was like, so what do you say? And I did not even think about it. I was like, dude, I'm there. I was like, I'll be there in a month. And I ended up lining up a job of a buddy of mine that I'd met previously, or a family friend that lived in Nashville already. He was a manager for a hotel valet service. Oh. And so I ended up hitting him up, and he was like, dude, yeah, I'll get you a job on the fly. Like, you'll be making bank. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, shoot, yeah. Like, let's go. I'll be driving some badass cars. I'll be making some good money. Like, let's go. I moved up there, dude, and I'm not going to lie to you. I did not make but maybe like $150 a week.
Oh, wow.
But the thing about it is, dude, I only worked there 2 weeks. And then I got thrown into Broadway. And it was just kind of like my whole world changed.
Yeah.
Because playing shows back in South Carolina, all I did was acoustic shows.
Yeah.
You know, I'd go in there and set my own sound up and then have a guy that would come out with me and maybe run the mixer.
Yeah.
And, you know, there wouldn't really be anybody tipping out, you know, down south. And, dude, you move up there and it's like a different world.
Yeah.
And so I got thrown into that, and they're like, yeah, just go up in there, set your, you know, your guitar up, your mic up. Now we're going to use in-ear monitors, put those in, and this guy's going to mix for the front of house, and you tell him what you want in your ears, and then you just play for 4 hours. And then
you just got through into the fire.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's what you wanted.
But, dude,
you
amazing.
Just didn't think it was going to come that soon.
Dude,
huh?
no. And it's absolutely taught me amazing. It's taught me so much better stage presence.
Yeah.
It's taught me how to be more of a people person, to be for the people and want to be an entertainer. And, dude, it's helped out a ton. I mean, it's got me a lot of, you know, small successes for, you know, I guess you could say the numbers that I'm at or whatever, which is not insane.
Yeah.
But honest to God, if you would ask that kid 2 years ago that even I'd be sitting here talking with you guys.
Yeah.
He would have been like, you're lying.
Yeah.
You're a liar. But it's all, and I just know deep down in my heart, just the way that everything has happened, the way that everything is folded out, that I'm not driving this train.
Yeah.
You know, the conductor is the one above, and he's blessing, and he's great.
So tell us a little bit about some of the stuff you've done in Nashville, and just in the short 8 months.
Good Lord, man. I mean, we've gotten blessed with the opportunities to be hired out on the road to go open for a couple of other people. Like we got to do Lone Star. That song they were huge back in the 90s and 80s and stuff, and we ended up having an opportunity to go out and do that. Started finding new people to write with. I would make trips back and forth from Nashville to South Carolina before I moved up there, and on my way back, I would always drive down 16th Avenue, which is where all the record labels and the publishing deals and the writing rooms and everything is, and I'd just be like, good God, like I would do anything to be able to get into a write. We ended up, dude, I was in town for 4 or 5 months and just met the right people, and it ended up happening, and like I was just kind of shocked, and when you're in the moment about it, you just don't really think about it.
Yeah.
You know, yes, at the end of the day, you're thankful and you're appreciative for, you know, any opportunity you get. But it took me a little bit to actually sit down and be able to think about it and be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, I was going through my memories on Snapchat a couple of days ago, and dude, I was seeing old videos of me singing when I first picked up the guitar, and then like thinking about now, and it's like you just don't really think about how blessed you are until you get something like stuff like that put in front of your face, and it's just kind of like, wow, holy crap, you know. And I'm not even nowhere near some of the guys that, you know, we mutually know and stuff, but even to have any you know, any kind of success is just a blessing in its own.
And I'm not trying to preach to you or nothing, but this is something that I've battled with over the years, and maybe you don't, but being in a town like that with people like that and people that you know, I'm sure you probably compare yourself a time or two. It's not you, you know, it's not your fault.
Well, there's a lot of things that go through people's mind. I mean, especially mine. I'm like, am I doing this right?
Right.
Well, this person did this song like this.
Yeah.
So, and I really like that song. So I want to try to do something just like that song, but not enough to where it would be like a lawsuit or anything.
Right.
But, I mean, comparison is evil, dude.
It is.
Like
I've battled it.
Dude, comparison sucks. And
yeah.
It's something that, you know, I couldn't help. I mean, I compared myself to people a lot, you know, when I first got started, when things first started popping off and actually happening. And that's, you know, after seeing the outcomes of it, of being like, oh, well, you look like so-and-so, or your songs sound like so-and-so songs, or this sounds like so-and-so. And it's just kind of like, eventually you get tired of it. And eventually it's forced in front of your face to where now you're thinking like, well, I don't want to sound like them.
Yeah.
Like I want to be my own person.
Yeah.
And so I personally had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Of actually comparing myself to other people and other people's music, for it to come in front of my face and be like, you are you.
Yeah.
And you are not him, and you are not her. Like, you are you. And, dude, ever since then, it's just, I've been a lot happier with myself, and I've been more appreciative of maybe like the outcome of songs, that have been written or some, stuff like that. But
we've partnered with Mallard Bay to make booking your next trip even easier. Go to mallardbay.com. Once it's up, you'll see a different variety of things you can choose from, recently booked trips, and if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the different states that you can tap into. The easiest way is to click the Start Your Adventure tab, type in a location or species, for instance, Oklahoma duck hunt. Click it. It'll show up all the outfitters. We're going to click Prairie Creek. Scroll down, you'll see the different packages that you can book. Select your dates. Continue. See the total. Create an account. Pay for your hunt, and you're ready to go. If you're looking to book a new trip or a trip for friends and family, go to mallardbay.com and get on your next adventure. Yeah, like you said, comparison is very evil. And, like I said, living in a town like that, it's probably hard not to sometimes, and especially when you don't have control and, like you said, people comparing you to other people. When you're trying to make your own sound and your own presence and, trying to be Ryan, not somebody else. You know what I mean? That's crazy. I'm glad you figured that out quick.
It's sometimes learning the hard way is the best way.
Right.
Because like in your journey of doing whatever you're doing, one thing that I've learned is, the good times are good, but the bad times are good too.
Right.
Because that teaches you now what not to do.
Right.
You could go in a time where you're really upset and you're really, not feeling it. But it's just kind of like you're going through that time now. Now you know what got you there and why you're there. Yeah. Now, whenever something like that pops up, I know what not to do.
Right.
And that's the best, kind of teaching that you could get.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you just get good, you just get success, and it just over and over again, you never see any kind of hardships. What are you learning?
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of useless at that point.
Yeah.
But
what's been the best thing about moving to Nashville?
Being able to be closer to the connections that could help change my life.
Right.
And knowing that they're there. With success comes sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody understands that. You have to. I like moving away from my family. I'm a big family guy.
Yeah.
I love my mom, my dad, my brothers, and my family is really
boys?
Close.
Yeah.
My brother, my sister, she'll FaceTime me my little sister will FaceTime me every now and then, just be like, I miss you. Yeah. And I'm like, you're making me sad.
Yeah.
And, but, I mean, it's a part of the sacrifice.
Yeah.
To be able to become the person that I've always dreamed of being, which is somebody that can use the talents that the Lord has blessed me with to help other people. Like you guys were saying, you've got messages from people that's like, your videos really help me out. Right. I mean, I aspire to be able to, get messages like that. And I mean, I've got a song out right now called Make 22-0 Again. It's for the 22 veteran suicides a day that I partnered with Escape the Herd with. And man, it hasn't happened much. It's real. This is one time that it's happened where I'm just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I was walking in downtown Greenville in South Carolina, where I'm from, one day, and I got stopped by this guy, and and this is like one of the only times this has happened, but this is one it's all it took for me to be like, wow, like that feeling is awesome, and I want to feel that again.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, and he's like, hey, man, like I battled depression and, suicide thoughts and suicide attempts and stuff. I fought in the military. From, and PTSD is really getting to me. Your song saved my life.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, at that moment, I was like I didn't know. I was in shock.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the first time that anybody's ever said something like that to me, and it worked.
Yeah.
It did its job. And it's just an unreal feeling, I know you guys know the feeling, and it's just...
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
You're doing it, man. That's awesome.
Got to keep on trucking.
You want to play us a song?
Shoot, yeah.
Let's play a song. We can close out. I'm going to close out after the song, but play us a good one. What you got?
Good deal. We ended up... I'll kind of fix this mic to where it'll...
No, you're good. I'm going to mute everybody except for yours.
I ended up...
Keep going.
I ended up writing this song with a buddy of mine literally probably about a week ago. And I'm sure we're at a duck camp. You guys know what a 410 is. 410 shotgun. And I grew up, my parents saying 10-4. And for those that don't know what 10-4 means, that means like, all right, good to go. Like, I got you a copy. And we ended up writing this song right here, and me and my buddy named Judd Harris. And I think this was probably going to be the next one I put out. And it's called 410-10-4. Goes like this. Popping squirrels with a hand-me-down gun that granddaddy passed down when I was young. Front porch swing sunrise, yeah, it had me feeling like I was a king where I'm from. Turning dirt with a John Deere green, bonfire smoke blowing off steam. Tailgates on the outskirt, dirt on my t-shirt, arm around a country boy's dream. Nowadays when I sit and look back, I can say I was on the right track. From blazing trails on a creek bend, letting it sink in like a Sunday morning choir singing a little bit of Amazing Grace. Still hell-bent finding my way to an 8-point buck, trying to keep score for that little boy carrying a 410 yelling 10-4. It could be in a jacked up truck, 35 straight slinging up mud, can a long cut tearing through the back of my pocket. No, I won't forget, 'cause when I sit and look back, I can say I was on the right track. From blazing trails on a creek bend, letting it sink in like a Sunday morning choir singing a little bit of Amazing Grace. Still hell-bent finding my way to an 8-point buck, trying to keep score with that little boy carrying a 410 yelling 10-4, yeah. 410 yelling 10-4. Now when I sit and look back, I can say that I'm on the right track. Blazing trails on a creek bend, letting it sink in like a Sunday morning choir singing a little bit of Amazing Grace. Still hell-bent finding my way to an 8-point buck, trying to keep score but that little boy carrying a 410 yelling 10-4. 410 yelling 10-4 now.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's a great song.
I appreciate it.
And that's a very fitting song for where we're at.
Oh yeah, man.
That's awesome, dude. Man, it was a pleasure getting to hang out with all you guys this past couple of days and getting to meet y'all and getting to hear everybody's story. I wish Matt was here for this one. That would have been a good one for him to listen to. But thank you for coming on, all of y'all. Thank y'all for you being good people. You know, everybody here has a different story, comes from a different way of life, and have done some cool stuff. You know, it's awesome. So I'm gonna start down here. We're gonna go around and tell them where they can find you if they haven't found you already, especially you two.
You can find me on all platforms at BBQ with Big Jake. That's Barbecue with Big Jake. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X.
Yeah.
Pretty much anywhere. You can find my seasoning stuff at barbecuewithbigjake.com.
And I highly suggest going and getting some. It's insane.
Shoot.
You're missing out if you ain't got it by
Come
now.
on.
Yeah. What about you?
Yes, we're on all platforms as well: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Everything's the same. It's
Yeah.
Redneck Reviews. You'll see us. Instagram, it's got the blue check mark. A lot of fake accounts.
I imagine.
Don't get tricked.
Don't get tricked. What about you, Ryan?
I'm on Instagram, Ryan.SpencerMusic, and then on everything else, it's Ryan Spencer Music.
Awesome.
And yeah, thank you for having me, dude.
Yeah, dude.
This is awesome.
Heck yeah. I'm glad we all got together, man. And y'all go check them out. Check us out on Instagram if you haven't already at the Quack Shack Podcast and at the Migration Tour. Follow Gator Waders _outdoors. They're putting all this on for us this year. We're doing we're doing a tour with them this year. If you haven't watched our videos from last year or the ones prior to this video, go check them out. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank y'all.